Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good to see you today. Good morning, Emeka. How are you? Glad that you could join me. What a privilege to have you here this morning. 30th May already, just a few days ago, we were at December 2021, experiencing wiser. And now here we are, almost the middle of the year. If you can hear me clearly, please say aye. All right, I know you can hear me. Good morning, Nancy, because you're already responding. I'm super fantastic. Fantastic. I'm great. I'm grateful. I'm happy. And I feel fulfilled that we can do this morning, right? To talk about a few things. Well, one thing that needs to be done if we'll win in the year. If you've been with me from the very beginning, good morning, mechanic. You've been with me from the very beginning of the Talk with Joyce series earlier in the year. We've been taking our learnings from the book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, because I found that to be one of the most impactful books that I have read, one of the most impactful books I have read. And if we follow through with the principles within the book, I find that we actually win. We don't just win things. We win dreams, we win people, we win peace of mind, we win satisfaction, we win joy. We win in relationships, we win in the things that we desire, in our goals and more. So if we're going to win in the year, we might as well follow the same principles. This will be our third in the series. The very first time we spoke about the morning, Neddy. We spoke about the key of being proactive. Proactive. What can I do ahead of time? What can I do before somebody else does something for me? So if I need to buy food today, being proactive would be find out what food I would like to eat, where I can get it from, call them ahead to find out if it will be available to order, or find out who can come cook for me ahead of time. Good morning, Florence. It's different from waiting till 2 p.m. and you go, oh my gosh, it's time to eat. Waiting, I go chop, sir. Oh, I should have ordered this thing in the morning. I should have. But being proactive helps us reduce the I should haves, right? It means it will reduce. Being proactive will help us win. When we're not proactive, we might not win. So if we're going to win, we'll be proactive. The next point we talked about last time we were together was begin with the end in mind. What is the end? So yes, still on the example of lunch. The end is for lunch, I would like to have beans and plantain. Being proactive would be to ask the food vendor, assuming you're not cooking it yourself, ask the food vendor, would beans and plantain be available? And he might say, oh no, not available. And then you now need to ask 2 or 3 other food vendors, and somebody says, oh, beans and plantain will be available here. Now you know, then you can place your order and pay, and then tell them, please, by 1:30, you deliver it to me at the office, right? That is beginning with the end in mind. So you were proactive about the beans because you were clear what the end was. The end is you wanted to eat beans and plantain. Now, being proactive is one thing. Beginning with the end in mind is another, because sometimes you say, okay, I have the money for lunch. I'm proactive about the money for lunch, but beginning with the end in mind is you need to also know what you want to eat for lunch. Now, today, the topic is put first things first. Since I know that I want to have lunch, I want to have beans and plantain for lunch, what is the first thing that I should do? Our discussion today is putting first things first. Put first things first. So the first thing really in this lunch business will be to, when I say lunch business, planning the lunch, what will the first thing be? Knowing that I do want to eat. Then what I want to eat. You see, first of all, let's write out all the things that need to be done. As trivial as it sounds, these are the things that cause us heartache sometimes. So if I ask us all today, Monday, the 30th of May, what are you going to have for lunch? Do you know? Put it in the chat. Do you know? Do you have a clue? What would you like to have for lunch today? What would you like to have for lunch today? You see, then I would ask, what are the different things to do to achieve this? Are you going to cook it yourself? Is somebody else cooking it for you? If you're cooking it yourself, first things first. Have you drawn up the list? I think one of the first things to do will be to draw up the list of items that need to be purchased. And then, do you know the current price? Thank you. Morning, Lacey. Do you know the current price? And you see, it's okay not to know, Emeka, depending on how important it is to you. And if you would need to plan for it, and how much time you would need to plan for it, and how much money you would need in the planning. So you might want to eat beans and plantain, but you don't know how much beans and plantain costs now, because it probably doesn't cost what it did last week. And this is me being serious. So one of the first things would be to find out what it costs. If you're the one cooking it yourself, you're going to write out the list. So write out the list, then find out the costs, then check if you have enough money, which will determine if you really will eat beans and plantain, or you would eat beans alone, or plantain alone, or you would go to your neighbor's house and eat whatever they're offering. You see, begin with the end in mind, but put first things first. Hi, everyone. Hi, Ogechi. Hi, Onehi. Hi, Lebura. Hi, Ella. Good to see you all. Welcome. So if we don't put first things first, we might get to lunchtime and call the person who we want to order. Maybe you want to have lunch at 2. At 12:45, you might call the person, hey, Nancy, please, I'd like to have beans and plantain. I say, okay, that's fine. How many plates? Oh, only one. Oh, it's 700 naira. 700 naira. But last week I paid 500. And they say, things don't cost though. 700. Madam, I have only 500. Say, sorry, Madam Joyce, sorry. It's 700. And now, no credits. Okay. So, wow. So what do you have for 500? Oh, okay. Indomie. Okay. I'll take Indomie now. My question is, have you won? Did you win with lunch? Did you win with lunch? It might be a yes or no, depending on other factors. Someone might say no because I really wanted beans and plantain. But if we check the process, it's easy to say, well, I didn't know the price had changed. After all, I paid for it last year or last week, and it was 500. We are saying if you are going to win with lunch today, you will put first things first. So you will call this morning, find out if it's available, how much it is, and see if you have the money. It's the same way with if you're going to win with any other thing this year. I wrote a few things that you might want to win with this year, or win at this year, or win in this year. And if you wouldn't mind, I would like you to write a few things you would like to win in this year, or win at, or win on, win around this year. It could be in your academics. You want to acquire or attend a postgraduate diploma, or you want to get a master's, or you want to attend one new certificate program, something. There's some knowledge you want to get. Good morning, Doris. Good morning, Kelechi. I'm not sure. Okay, I don't think I should be calling names again because I don't miss out some of the names coming in. Good morning again, everyone. Welcome. So it might be academic. So what do you want to win at how do you want to win in your academics this year? Let's write out the list of all the things that need to be done, including what schools can I attend, what schools are offering this course that I want. Fantastic, I want to launch my fast food this year. Emeka, oh, God bless you. Please, I'm just going to hinge or pivot on this, your example, if you don't mind. I'll just use it for the course. For this discussion, I want to launch my fast food this year. So I'm asking, since our topic of conversation today is put first things first, I would say, first of all, before we even put first things first, what are all the things that need to be done? Let me just write a few things that come to mind that need to be done before we now determine which should be first. So guess what? The first thing to do is to write out all the things that need to be done. The first thing to do is to write out all the things, then we begin to prioritize. So to launch a fast food, it's location, it's menu and offerings, or menu/offerings, because we also need to know what will be offered at this fast food. Will I give only meat pie, fish pie, or do I want to do some akara? Is akara considered fast food? Who else? What can I do to the akara? So you see, you want to write your menu and your offerings. You want to write the location. You want to write the branding, so which includes the name will be called, the look and feel, the colors, blah, blah, blah. You want to talk about what are all the fine things. Branding will include the smell of the place, the customer service experience. Let me write customer service experience. All that is part of branding, of course. How do people feel when they walk in? What is the first thing they do? You want to write out all those things. Okay. What else is there? Staffing. Where am I going to get staff from? How do I want to staff? Do I want to staff only students who will be working part-time and shifts? Or do I want people with experience? Blah, blah, blah. What else do I want to do? Do I want to play music, which is part of branding anyway? Do I want to play music when people walk in or no? Blah, blah, blah. Then you want to write models. Who else? Who runs a fast food business the way I like? Then you want to write out all the names of the different fast foods that you have been to or should visit. Let me visit Genesis, Kilimanjaro, Mr. Biggs, KFC, Chicken Republic, Black Bell Restaurant. Write out all of them, all the names that you can think of, including Domino's Pizza, Cold Stone, because these are all fast food offerings, right? Fast food businesses. Write them all out. Then which of them looks like the one I want? What are the things they do there that I like? What are those things I always wish they could improve on? How am I going to improve them in my own? You see, you're writing all the things out. Then we now come to financials. How much do all these things cost? What is the rent? What does it cost to prepare furniture and furnishing? What does it cost to subscribe to Wi-Fi for my back-end office details? What does it cost to have a laptop at the checkout counter, the payments receipt printer, the POS machine, blah, blah, blah. You're writing out all these things. This is already one full book. You're writing out blah, blah, all these things. What are salaries per month? And everybody says I should have money for at least 6 to 12 months of salary, 6 to 9 months of salaries. Do I have this money? How much do they earn? What happens when somebody defaults? What about, you see, you're writing all these things out. That's the first thing to do. Emeka, it's my assumption that you've done this already. And if you haven't, guess what? That's why you're here. To put first things first. Emeka, please, if you don't mind, respond. Have you done this? I won't believe you say yes. And if you've not, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So you write out all these things. That's the first thing to do. And then you begin to prioritize. So whilst I'm putting money in place, should I also be training the potential staff? Should I also be doing the branding? What does it cost to even brand? Have I registered the business with the corporate affairs? Do I know what it takes to do the local government registration with the business so that people don't keep running into my business to say I haven't paid since this tax or that tax or this tax? What are the taxes that I asked for in the city where I belong, in the local government where I belong? Some people will come from, what's the company that is in the government parastatal that's in charge of signs and billboards? Have I paid my bills there? Have I paid my dues there? So you see, in writing out all these things, then you now ask yourself a question like, now this is me, for everyone I know personally who has done a business, I always say, is there some way you can intern with someone? In fact, a friend of mine started her fast food business. Wow, like 4 years already, if not 5. I think it's 4 years now. I think this should be their 4th year in Port Harcourt. And we were talking together, going through all of these things together. It was a whole lot of work. And I said, how about you go spend some time with Kilimanjaro? The reason I mentioned Kilimanjaro is because I know the owner, and I said I could speak to him on your behalf, tell him what you want. You're trying to set up your own business, so you would like to work with him for a month so that you can observe from the back end things that you may not have known. Would you like to do that? She said, oh yeah. So we reached out and made that happen. God, he was so gracious. And I don't think he put a fee to it, or did he? I'm not sure right now. And for about a month or two, she was able to, as it were, go intern. Not every day, but she went. No, it wasn't Kilimanjaro. It was the Promise. It was the Promise. We reached out to the Promise because she said she knew where he lived and he lived close to her. So yes, she went to see Pastor, what's his name now? Pastor that owns the Promise. Went to see him and interned with him for a few weeks. And sincerely, she was like, oh, wow, there were some things I hadn't thought about, like stocking and how to keep fresh stock. So it means that the freezer needs to be on 24/7 because there would always be chicken and fish and that. And she hadn't thought about how they were going to power the freezer 24/7. You know, those things you just might not think of. If you are going to win, you will put first things first, writing out everything, determining whether you need to go intern somewhere else. You are very likely to fail because you might start without considering several angles. You start the business and then realize, oh my gosh, you've started the business already, but then you realize then that you have not made any contingency arrangements for freezing your meats or storing your meats. Then you now go, oh, where am I going to keep it? Then there is no lights, then you can't run the gen because there's no money to run the gen. And then you realize that you've lost 6 cartons of chicken that you bought, something of fish, because go back to the planning. We didn't put first things first. Please, is this making sense to you? If it is, please write MS in the chat. And this is just one business we're talking about. So I ask, what else do you want to win at this year in your career? Thank you, Emeka, for letting us talk about your fast food business as an example. In your career, in parenting, you want to win in parenting, right? And so what do you need to do to put things first? So I'm reading this book. Oh, okay. It's not here. I've shown you. I'm reading this book written by Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala and Christine, what's her name now? She was not Christine, her other name. The lady who was the former Prime Minister of Australia. I think she was the first female Prime Minister of Australia. So they wrote the book together. And I was reading somewhere where Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala talking about her growing up. Her parents schooled abroad in Germany and the US. Her mom is a PhD holder. Her father is a PhD holder as well. So growing up, they all knew that going all the way to having PhDs wasn't a conversation to be had. It was something that you were going to do because your parents had it, right? It was the norm. Then she grew up, I think the first 8 or 9 years in the village in Ogwashuku with her grandmother, with everything complete, going to the farm, going to fetch water at the stream, getting firewood and all of that, because whilst her mom was in school in the US and had to keep her child somewhere. So she left her with her mom. The mom left her baby with her mother in the village. It was the norm. Christine Lagarde, thank you. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, Christine. It was the norm. So she, growing up, knowing and seeing her mother go to school, have a job, and raise a family, it was never, ever a thing of concern to her as per how she would strike what we call work-life balance, how she would take care of a family while working and going to school. She had seen her mother do it already. So she already knew that having children, she would need support system where she might need to keep her children with somebody trustworthy for some time. It was not it wasn't a difficult thing because she saw it. And the conversations were all around fulfilling that. So linking this to putting first things first. Someone who wants to go to school, work at a job whilst taking care of a family needs to also think of, where would I keep my children whilst I do this? Putting first things first. Putting first things first would even be to have the conversation with the spouse to be sure that both of you are on the same page about where to keep the children. So that it's not when you've gotten the admission, you're about to go off to school, and now, please, just because of stereotype's sake, I'm speaking to women directly right now, but of course, men are very much involved. You've gotten your admission, you're about to go, and then you say to your husband, oh, okay, so I'm taking the children to your mother's place on Tuesday. And your husband goes, why? For what? So that I can, you know now that I've been working on the admission. You congratulated me last week when the admission came. Yes, but I also didn't know you were going to drop the children at mommy's place. No, I didn't want anybody to drop in mommy's place. You know how that house is, people walking in and out anyhow. I don't want my children there. See, you're about to fail. Because we didn't put first things first. First things first would be have the conversation, make the plan, be on the same page, be clear. Please, is this making sense to you? You see why many of us will look back on almost anything we failed at, and I can x-ray a few things myself. Check it. You'll find that either I was not proactive, which is step number one, which is what we discussed 3 months ago. Either I wasn't proactive, or 2 months ago we discussed begin with the end in mind, or I didn't begin with the end in mind, or I did not put first things first. But you will determine what the first thing is only when you have written out all the things that need to be done. So if you're going to succeed in politics come 2020, what's the next cycle? 2027. If you're going to succeed in politics in 2027, put first things first. So first things first will be what? Write out all the things that need to be done. If I'm going to succeed at politics, I would need to join a political party. I would need to start attending ward meetings. I would need to be known by my people. I would need to have a certain amount of money. Now, please don't make that mistake and just say certain amount of money. How much? So you need to go and start asking people who ran for office this year, what did it cost you? And what did you do with the monies? If hopefully you're going to be asking people like me who know exactly what they've spent monies on every day. And yes, I'm writing a pamphlet called The Beginner's, what's it called now? Let me check. The Beginner's Guide to Running for Office. I'm writing a pamphlet. It's going to be a free pamphlet. The Beginner's Guide to Running for Office. So I'm detailing all the things you need to do to run for office and hopefully win your elections. Because in the book, I would also write that there is no hard and fast rule anywhere in the world. Politics is like running, it's like sports. It's like competitive sports. There will be one winner. So you will win just by showing up and even getting to the final list. But whether you win the tickets or win the election is a totally different story. That there is no book in the world that will tell you this is exactly what to do to win. We can say these are all the things that will increase your chances of winning. Because when we check all the people who failed, they didn't do these things. And when we check all the people who won, they had the other thing which a book really can't give you, which is God's mercy, grace, time and chance, all of that happening at the same time to make sure you win. You could do everything and still not win. There is that undefined hand. But if you're going to increase the chances, so if you're going to win politics in 2027, what are the things to do now? You're joining the party, you're doing this, you're getting known. What are the activities you want to do within your locality to let people notice you, to make people notice you? How do you want to make people like you, want you, know you, right? What am I going to do? What party am I going to join? All those things, and then you start putting them in order of priority. Okay, from this year to this year, I should do this. From 2023 to 2022 to 23, I should do this. 23 to 24, I should do this. 24 to 5, do this. 26, blah, blah. Then by 2027, by God's grace, we will win if we also do all these things. Put first things first. So for your day, for today, I have a flight to catch at 4 something. I'm in Abuja right now. I'm going back to Lagos. My flight is at 4:20, 4:45 or 4:30 something. So first things first is to confirm the time of the flight so that I plan a ride, because I've missed my flights in the past because I didn't confirm the time. I just thought, I think they wrote 6 something there. Oh, okay. And so I started preparing to go to the airport at 4 something just for me to get there. And they say they just closed the check-in. Oh, I'm trying to get in. Oh no, it was not 6 something. It was 5 something. But Joyce did not open her bloody phone to just look again to be sure. She didn't do it in the morning. She did it when she was already in the taxi on her way to the airport, and then she couldn't control the traffic. If she had only checked her, you see, if she had put first things first for the day, which is write out the plan for the day. Today I'm traveling, I will call Nimi, I will do this, I will do that. Okay, so which one should come first? I should check this here, I should make that call here. Okay, then in order of priority. So first, let me go check my flight time again. Okay, which is exactly what I'm doing right now, by the way, just to be sure. My flight time is 4:45. Fantastic. So 4:45 means I need to leave the house at 2:30 to be on the safe side. It means that I must have had lunch and finished lunch before 2:30. It means if I'm going to have lunch, it means I should be at the lunch place for 12:30. You see how I started doing the backward integration? It means I should be at lunch place for 12:30. It means I should have finished packing for this. It means I should have left the house for 12 and blah, blah, blah. It means that after this, I should be starting my exercise immediately so that I can make this happen. Else, now you see why people miss flights. Because we didn't put first things first. This is where we're getting around off, except if you have a question, please, I would be glad to take a question right now. If we will win this year of 2022, please, today, you can take the next 5 minutes before you get up, before you leave, or wherever you are now, if you can, and if you're driving and somebody else can write for you, what are the 2 things, where are the 2 areas you want to win this year? First things first, write out all the things you need to do to win. The Google searches, the applications you need to write, find out what the deadlines are, and then start writing. The people who need to refer you or reference you, can you reach out to them today so that you can meet up that deadline for June 15th, so that you don't start rushing on June 14th and then miss the deadline? Write it all out. And then be proactive to see what you can do ahead, beginning with the end in mind, because we want to win. We want to win. We don't want to get to the end of the year and look back and say, if only I had. You know, the idea is to reduce that from happening, to stop that from happening. We want to get to December and go, we made it. I want to have certain amount of money in my savings. That means that every month I should be putting aside this. And I want to have these savings in dollars. So what can I do? So writing out those things. Why do I want the savings in dollars? To hedge inflation. Right? To hedge inflation, because it's possible that by the end of the year, dollar rates will be much higher, things will be also more expensive. And I don't want the dollar, I want to be able to take care of that extra, that difference. What I'm paying for 700 Naira now might be 1,004 in December. I want to be able to care for that difference. So I want those dollars, I want dollars that would help me hedge. So where am I going to put the dollars? How am I going to get such dollars? Hey, so what are the different options? So you write them out and you realize, wait, in my case, I'm telling you my truth, that's true. One of my sisters abroad always likes to send money to my parents every month. So let me ask her if I can give them the Naira here and she can invest the dollar there for me. Oh, wow. So what are the possibilities of earning something on that? And then at the end of the year, I ask her, so if I give you this, how much do you give them? Oh yeah, I give them this. Okay, I can afford to give them this every month. So how much dollars would that be there? Okay. So at the end of the year, how many dollars will I have? If you put it, what would you put it in that will give me, even if it's 3% in profit, 5%? Is there possibility of 10%, 15%? Oh, I can get something for this. Oh, okay. Oh, fantastic. Blah, 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 blah. Then when you're going to send the money in December, how would you send it and what will it cost? as long as it won't cost us all the profit that we've been able to save. And then we do that. You see, so what that has saved me from doing is that it has saved me from converting my Naira here in Nigeria at black market rate to dollar. She's going to give me the dollar equivalent at CBN rates, so that at the end of the year, I have more dollars. Look, is this making sense to you? So for someone like you listening, you might need to find somebody who gives, somebody you trust, of course, putting first things first. Do I trust this person? How can I track them? How can I make sure my money is safe? Blah, blah, blah. Should we write a document? Should we tell the whole family this is what we're doing? If this money does not come, what's the contingency plan? Who do we ask to step in? All those things, and put them in paper. If, you see, for me, because it's my sister, I didn't think I needed some of these things because we've done business transactions together for years and nothing has gone wrong. She's that person I trust. It might have been a friend who I didn't really trust, and I'll say, no, let's do it this way because I want to put first things first. Let's put the agreement on paper. Let's even get our friend, Patience, who is a lawyer, to say, please, Patience, drop the agreement for us. How much are we going to pay you for that? And you are the witness. And then how do we ensure that this, that? You see why some of these loan companies will take for some of you who have been wondering why people are always sending you texts to say this person is owing us money. What happened was when the person went to download the app for that loan organization, or when they went to register with that loan organization, they said, give us all the contacts on your phone and give us some of your pictures. So that if you default, we will send message to everybody on your phone to tell them that you are owing us. In fact, we would even start sending your picture by WhatsApp, which is what has happened. I've seen it a few times where people send me a message. They send me a picture of, do you know this person? He's owing us this. Do you know this person? She's owing us that. Please tell her to pay us. In fact, she made you a guarantor and blah, 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 blah. They do that because they're trying to protect themselves. So how are you protecting yourself for the end of this year? How are you protecting? What do you want to do at Christmas? Oh, this Christmas, I would like to give out some things to the less privileged. Fantastic. First things first. Write out the list. What will I need? What exactly do I want to give? What are the costs today? And since we know that in our country, things get more expensive toward the end of the year, how can I make sure I buy all those things by July or August or September before? What money do I need to put aside? Then by the time you write everything out, you might actually see that you can't make it for Christmas. So guess what? Your heart is at rest. You move it to Easter and say, since I've written all this and I see, I need to be putting aside 100,000 a month for 8 months. I don't have 8 months. 8 months will be from now till when? June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. It means that I would only be able to have my monies ready by January. So should I make it a Valentine program in February? Okay, so maybe to now, you see how you didn't get to December and get angry with yourself that you were not able to make it because you knew already ahead of time that it won't work for December. So you've moved it to February or to April, May, or March, April, and then you decide where you want to be keeping those 100,000 Nairas every month so that you can achieve this thing you want to do. Hi, Tofumi. Yes, the video is here. In fact, if you just scroll right now, if you see that red line, the red line at the bottom of your screen on YouTube, if you just scroll back, you can start watching from the very beginning. It will always be here. In fact, once we end the video is right here on YouTube. It's going nowhere. If we're going to win with anything, the word now that I think we should all take away is being intentional. Being intentional. It takes thinking, constantly thinking, writing. So you see, there's nothing wrong with you when you are always thinking and planning. Look, I didn't say when you're always worrying, because some people worry. Worry is not planning. They're two different things. Worry is thinking about what could go wrong and not providing solutions to fix it. Oh, I don't know, this Christmas, hey, if I'll be able to do this thing for these widows or these less privileged, hey God, I don't even know, hey, the way this country is going, hey God, will I be able to know that? That's worrying. And we're not talking about worrying here. We're talking about planning. We're talking about winning. I will win because I will put this amount of money aside. Okay, I can raise 5,000 Naira from 10 of my friends. So which of my friends? So let me write a list of 200 friends. And every day I will call one friend and ask if he or she is willing to give me 5,000 naira toward this course. Do you see where we start from? If you haven't read the book, I would advise you to read it, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And please don't read it to read and tick a box. Read it to do. Everything we're discussing here is out of that book. Next month, we're going to pick up one item from the book again and discuss it when we come here to talk with Joyce. For today, it's putting first things first. So I reiterate, if it's your academics, your job or career, your business, you want a promotion, what are the first things you need to do to get a promotion? Now, some people think promotions happen by luck or chance or who likes you. Come on, you can be more. First things first. Who is responsible for my promotion? Who? Remember, I always talk about 5 W's and 1 H. If you use 5 W's and 1 H, the solution will come out. Who, what, where, when, why, how? Who is responsible for my promotion? Oh, it is Ogwezi. Ogwezi is responsible. Does Ogwezi have all the information about me that will help him or her? I'm not sure now if Ogwezi is a male or a female. That will help him or her make the right decision concerning me. So does Ogwezi even know me personally? So now, how do I become friendly with Ogwezi? Enough for Ogwezi to know me, like me, trust me. And then Ogwezi might even look at my appraisal and say, Joyce, I've come to know you. Your appraisal that I've seen here is saying that you are falling short in this. How come? And then Ogwezi is even giving you an opportunity to save yourself because you have built some relationship with Ogwezi because you're intentional. Some people say, no, I didn't come here. Anything they want to write, they should write that, them and God. That's how people lose. That's not how people win. Nobody wins by saying, well, it concerns them. Anything they want to write, they should write. Leaving it to chance? Your success? Your promotion? No, nobody does that. You don't do that. And if you've not been promoted over time because you've been doing that, that's why. No, you will be liked. In fact, you will be loved by her, by Ogwezi. Some people say, but Joyce, isn't that being subjective? Isn't that mago? Be there arguing with your destiny. It's about human relations. It's, yes, some people will write it about the appraisal, which should be objective, but you and I know that anything that concerns human beings and affects feelings and affects perception, automatically over time does become a little bit subjective. So don't leave the subjective bit to chance. So become Ogwezi's friend. I didn't say bribe her and go out of your way to do what is not real. In fact, Dale Carnegie Principles of Human Relations #4 says, become genuinely interested in the other person. Genuine, underline the word genuine. So become genuinely interested in Ogwezi. In fact, #9 of the principles of the 30 of them, please find them, the Dale Carnegie Human Relations Principles. Take human relations, I've just put it there, Dale Carnegie, D-A-L-E Carnegie. Learn those principles. #9 says, make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. Make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. Now, when you don't do it sincerely, that's where there's a problem. But you've got to make Ogwezi feel important, doing it sincerely because she is important. That's different from what we might call butt licking or ass kissing. That's human relations. And then Ogwezi now really takes genuine interest in you and now begins to work with you to ensure your promotion gets to you. Ogwezi will call you. That's when Ogwezi will call you one day and say, Joyce, it's just because I like you. Let me tell you, at the meeting the other day, they said that the criteria now for promotion are, #1, you must have gotten your this. #2, you would have gotten your that. I realize you don't have these two. So how can you go and get them within the next 3 weeks? I say, oh, thank you so much, ma. And you quickly go and get your #1, get your #2, and come back and say, I've gotten it. Okay. When they are doing the list, when they're running up the list for those who will be promoted, at least I can put your name now. When they ask me, I can justify it. So where's the document? Is that cheating? No, that's human relations. Putting first things first. Who is responsible for my promotion? If it's my immediate boss, how do I make sure I'm in his good books or in her good books? Then how do I make sure I'm doing things right so that I will really be in her good books without being in the good books for the wrong reasons? Let's close. Let's close for today. Put first things first. I know that this might have raised certain questions for you, and you might be saying to yourself, oh my gosh, Joyce, I need to talk with you about this. I'm available to talk, but it's also for a fee. We can talk for 30 minutes, we can talk for an hour. I would give you a fee, would have a Zoom call or a WhatsApp call or something, and itemize together, because sometimes you need somebody to think along with you to see things you may not have seen. I'm available. I'm available. I'm available. Call me, send me a message, and let's plan to make that happen maybe this week or before the weekend. Let's do that, because we need to win. We need to win. We need to get to December 31st and go back and say, I won. And you would see places where you could have missed your win, but you made it because you put first things first and you followed through with being proactive, beginning with the end in mind. I love you. I am praying for your success. I am praying for your crowning, that by the end of the year, at the end of the year, we will celebrate together, giving God all the glory and praise that we made it happen, that He did it for us, and we held His hands and we won together. So win. Thank you for being here to meet with me today. Yes, do like the video and share it. Share the link. There's that arrow. There's the bent arrow that you can see, that icon you can see at the bottom of your video. Share it to someone who you think needs to watch this. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe so that anytime we go live, you would see notification that we are live, or anytime we post a video, which I think we're going to post we'll post a video this week. You need to see that, talking about politics and stuff. We have 1 or 2 videos that we'll post. I love you. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for being with me today. I'm so glad that you are here. But before you go, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and click on the bell icon to get notifications every time I post a new video so that you miss out on nothing. See you again. Bye for now.